Welcome back to Easy English Talk Podcast.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Easy English Talk Podcast. Priya, hey, how you doing today? How has your day been so far?
Ryan, honestly, it has been a really calm and peaceful day. I actually spent some time this morning just sitting quietly, which felt really nice. How about you? What have you been up to?
I had a slow morning too, which I think was exactly what I needed. I made some tea, sat by the window, and just thought about today's episode. It actually felt very fitting given what we were talking about today.
That is such a lovely way to start the day. And yes, I think today's topic really does call for that kind of quiet, reflective mood. I am genuinely excited to get into this one.
Before we do, I just want to say a warm welcome to everyone listening right now. Whether you are on your way to work, relaxing at home, or somewhere in between, we are really glad you're here. Take a moment and let us know in the comments where in the world you are listening from today.
Yes, we always love seeing where our listeners are tuning in from. It is one of our favorite parts of doing this podcast, honestly. The community around Easy English Talk Podcast is just so warm and global.
And we also want to ask you something important. Is this podcast helping you improve your English? Are you feeling more confident in your speaking, your listening, your understanding? Please share your thoughts in the comments because your feedback means everything to us.
We genuinely create every episode with you in mind. So knowing what is working and what you want more of really helps us grow this show for you. Do not be shy. Every comment helps.
Now, today we are discussing signs that the 27th night could be Laylatul Qadr. And if you have ever wondered how to recognize this blessed night, or if you have felt unsure about what to look for, then you are in exactly the right place.
This episode is going to give you real, clear, and meaningful information. By the end, you will have a much better understanding of what this night is and what signs to pay attention to. So stay with us because this one is truly worth your time.
Let us start from the very beginning, just to make sure everyone is on the same page. Laylatul Qadr is an Arabic phrase, and it means the night of power or the night of decree. It is considered the most blessed night in the entire Islamic calendar.
That is right. And what makes it so special is that in Islamic belief, this one night is said to be better than 1,000 months. That means worship and good deeds done on this night carry enormous spiritual value. It is truly unlike any other night of the year.
Now, this night falls within the last 10 days of Ramadan, which is the holy month of fasting observed by Muslims around the world. Many scholars and Islamic teachers have long believed that the 27th night of Ramadan is especially likely to be Laylatul Qadr. But how do we actually know? What are the signs?
That is exactly the question so many people ask, and it is such an important one. Because this night doesn't come with a loud announcement or a sign written in the sky. It comes quietly, and you have to know what to look for.
And that is precisely what we are going to explore today. We are going to walk through the signs, one by one, in clear and simple language. So whether you are a Muslim listener wanting to deepen your understanding, or someone who is simply curious and wants to learn, this episode will be truly meaningful.
And of course, for those of you practicing your English, this is also a wonderful opportunity. We are discussing a rich and spiritual topic using clear, everyday English, so you are improving your language skills while also learning something deeply valuable.
Let us begin with the first and perhaps most well-known sign. People who study this topic have mentioned that the morning after Laylatul Qadr, the sun rises without strong rays. It rises peacefully, almost like a full moon, soft and calm, without the sharp brightness it usually has.
This is actually mentioned in Islamic texts and has been passed down through generations of scholars. The idea is that on this particular morning, the sky looks different. The sunrise feels gentler, quieter, almost as if the world itself is still in a state of peace after such a blessed night.
Now, of course, not everyone will notice this unless they are already awake at dawn and watching the sky carefully. But for those who observe the Fajr prayer, which is the early morning prayer just before sunrise, this is something they can actually witness themselves.
And that is what makes it so personal and so special. It's not something reported on a news channel or announced officially. It is something you see with your own eyes when you are awake, spiritually present, and paying attention to the world around you.
The second sign is connected to the feeling of the night itself. Many people who have experienced what they believe to be Laylatul Qadr describe the atmosphere as unusually calm and still. There is a sense of peace in the air that is hard to describe but easy to feel.
Yes, and this is something that has been mentioned by scholars and ordinary believers alike. The night feels different. It is not too hot, not too cold. The wind, if there is any, is gentle. There is a sense of quiet that goes beyond just the absence of noise.
It's almost like the world slows down for a moment. And for someone who is in a state of prayer, reflection, or remembrance during that night, that stillness can feel very powerful and very real.
Exactly. And I think this is one of the reasons why so many people spend the last 10 nights of Ramadan in extra worship. They are hoping to catch that feeling, that unmistakable sense of something sacred in the air around them.
Now let us talk about the third sign, which is something many people report after the night has passed. It is the feeling of deep peace and spiritual calm that a person carries with them into the next morning. Something inside them feels different, feels lighter, feels settled.
This is a very personal sign, of course, but it is one that has been described consistently by people across different cultures and countries. It is that inner sense of having been in the presence of something greater than yourself, a quiet joy, a deep stillness in the heart.
And while this cannot be measured or proven scientifically, for the person experiencing it, it feels absolutely real and unmistakable. It is one of those things that you would recognize if it happened to you, even if you could not fully explain it in words.
That is such a beautiful way to put it, Ryan. And it also reminds us that spiritual experiences are often felt more than they are seen. The heart knows things that the mind sometimes struggles to explain.
Moving on, the fourth sign relates to dreams. Some Islamic scholars have mentioned that righteous people, or those who are spiritually sincere, may be given a vision or a dream, either on the night itself or shortly after it, which confirms that they witnessed Laylatul Qadr.
This is a more subtle sign, and not everyone will experience it. But within Islamic tradition, dreams are considered meaningful, especially during the blessed month of Ramadan. A dream that feels unusually clear, peaceful, or spiritually significant during the last 10 nights can sometimes be connected to this blessed night.
It is important to note here that this sign is not something to chase or obsess over. It is simply something to be aware of. The focus should always be on sincere worship and spiritual effort, not on looking for experiences or signs as a goal in themselves.
That is a really important point, because the spirit of seeking Laylatul Qadr is about connection, humility, and genuine devotion. The signs are guides, not guarantees, and they remind us to stay present and sincere throughout the entire last 10 days of Ramadan.
Now let us talk about something that affects nature on this night, something that has been passed down in Islamic tradition for centuries. It is said that on Laylatul Qadr, the angels descend to the earth in great numbers.
Yes, and this is directly mentioned in the Quran, in Surah Al-Qadr. The verse says that on this night, the angels and the Spirit descend by the permission of their Lord for every matter. It is a night of divine activity, of mercy, of forgiveness, and of peace.
And while we cannot see angels with our eyes, the belief is that their presence brings a spiritual weight to the atmosphere of that night. This is one reason why so many people feel that the night of the 27th has a different energy, something unexplainable but deeply felt.
And this connection to the Quran gives these signs real religious grounding. We are not talking about folklore or superstition. We are talking about beliefs rooted in sacred text and centuries of Islamic scholarship.
That is an important distinction to make, because understanding where these signs come from helps us take them seriously without misunderstanding them. They are part of a rich spiritual tradition that millions of people hold very dear.
And whether you are someone who follows this tradition personally or someone who is learning about it from the outside, there is so much wisdom and beauty in these teachings. It is worth understanding them with an open and respectful mind.
Let us now discuss the fifth sign, which is one that many people find very interesting. It is said that on the night of Laylatul Qadr, there are no shooting stars in the sky. In other words, the shayateen, or evil forces, are prevented from ascending to the heavens and eavesdropping on divine matters.
This is a fascinating sign because it is actually something that could be observed, at least in theory, by someone who is watching the sky carefully. In Islamic belief, shooting stars are sometimes associated with the driving away of evil forces that try to listen in on heavenly affairs.
And on Laylatul Qadr, it is believed that this activity stops. The night is fully protected, fully sacred. Nothing disrupts the peace or purity of what is happening spiritually on that night.
It is such a unique detail, and it shows how layered and thoughtful the Islamic understanding of this night really is. Every aspect of the physical world seems to reflect what is happening in the spiritual world on that blessed night.
Now, I want to take a moment to talk about the number 27 specifically, because many people wonder why scholars focus so much on this particular night. Why the 27th and not any other night of the last 10 days?
That is a great question, and the answer has several layers. One of the reasons scholars have pointed to the 27th night is based on the Arabic letters in Surah Al-Qadr. When certain letters in that chapter are counted, the number 30 suggests a connection to the 27th night, according to some scholarly interpretations.
That sounds very specific, and it is. Islamic scholars have spent centuries studying the Quran deeply, looking at language, structure, and meaning with incredible attention to detail. These are not casual observations. They are the result of serious and devoted scholarship.
Another reason is a narration attributed to the companion Ubay ibn Ka'b, who said with great confidence that Laylatul Qadr is the 27th night of Ramadan. He was one of the most knowledgeable companions of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and his words carry significant weight in Islamic tradition.
So the focus on the 27th night is not random. It is backed by scholarship, by tradition, and by the experience of countless Muslims throughout history who have felt something extraordinary on that particular night.
And at the same time, scholars also remind us that we should not limit our search to just the 27th night. Laylatul Qadr could fall on any of the odd nights of the last 10 days of Ramadan, including the 21st, 23rd, 25th, 27th, or 29th.
That is such a wise and balanced perspective. It encourages people to dedicate all of the last 10 nights to worship and reflection, rather than only showing up on the 27th and thinking the job is done.
Exactly. And that consistency, that sustained effort across multiple nights, is actually itself a sign of sincerity. It shows that a person is not just chasing an experience, but is genuinely committed to their spiritual growth.
Let us now turn to something more personal and practical. How does a person actually prepare for this night? What can someone do to position themselves spiritually to experience the blessings of Laylatul Qadr?
The first and most important thing is intention. Before the last 10 nights begin, a person should make a clear and sincere intention in their heart that they want to seek this night for the right reasons. Not for social recognition, not out of habit, but out of genuine love and devotion.
That intention sets the tone for everything that follows. It is like planting a seed before the rain comes. Without the seed, even the most blessed rain will not grow anything meaningful in your life.
After intention comes preparation of the environment. This means reducing distractions, limiting unnecessary screen time, minimizing social commitments, and creating space in your schedule for prayer, reflection, and quiet thought.
Because Laylatul Qadr does not come to people who are too busy to notice it. It comes to those who have created stillness in their lives and made room for something greater than the everyday rush of modern life.
And then there is a spiritual preparation, which includes increasing acts of worship in the days leading up to the last 10 nights. This could be extra prayers, more recitation of the Quran, giving in charity, or simply taking more moments throughout the day to be grateful and mindful.
Building that spiritual momentum before the final 10 nights is like warming up before a big event. It helps you enter those nights in the right state of mind and heart. You are already connected, already focused, already present.
One of the most recommended acts for Laylatul Qadr specifically is a short but incredibly powerful supplication. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, taught his wife Aisha, may God be pleased with her, a special prayer for this night.
And that prayer is simple and beautiful. It translates to, "O Allah, you are the pardoner. You love to pardon, so pardon me." This prayer captures everything about the spirit of this night: the desire for forgiveness, the recognition of human weakness, and the trust in divine mercy.
What I find so moving about this prayer is how simple it is. It does not require fancy words or long speeches. It is just a person turning to their Creator with honesty and asking for forgiveness. And that simplicity is actually its greatest strength.
Because at its core, Laylatul Qadr is not about performing for anyone. It is about that private, quiet conversation between a person and God. It is about letting go of pride and pretense and simply being real in your supplication.
That is such a profound thought, Ryan. And I think it applies beyond just this one night. The practice of honest, humble prayer is something that can transform a person's entire relationship with their faith, no matter what religion they follow or what spiritual tradition they belong to.
Now, let us also address a common concern that many people have around this time of year. Some people feel pressure during the last 10 nights of Ramadan. They feel like they are not doing enough, not praying enough, not crying enough, not feeling spiritual enough.
And that pressure can actually become a barrier. When a person is too focused on performing their worship rather than simply doing it, they lose the authenticity that makes worship meaningful in the first place. Sincerity cannot survive under the weight of excessive self-judgment.
So the advice here is to let go of comparison and expectation. You do not need to match what anyone else is doing. You do not need to pray for 10 hours straight or weep dramatically to prove your devotion. Just show up honestly and do what you can.
That is such important advice. And I think it is something that people of all backgrounds can relate to, not just in spiritual life, but in everyday life as well. Showing up honestly, doing your best, and letting go of the pressure to be perfect. That is actually a very healthy way to live.
And it connects beautifully to the spirit of Ramadan as a whole, which is about discipline, reflection, community, and growth, not about perfection or performance. The whole month is an invitation to become a little better, a little kinder, a little more conscious.
And Laylatul Qadr, as the crown jewel of that month, carries the same spirit. It is an invitation to turn inward, to seek forgiveness, to reconnect with what truly matters, and to walk away from that night feeling renewed and hopeful.
Let us now talk about something that is often overlooked when people discuss Laylatul Qadr, and that is the role of community. The last 10 nights of Ramadan are not meant to be a solitary experience locked away from everyone else. They are also about being part of something larger.
Absolutely. In many Muslim communities around the world, the nights of the last 10 days are filled with congregational prayers, known as Taraweeh and Tahajjud. Mosques stay open through the night, families gather, and there is a beautiful sense of shared devotion in the air.
And that communal energy is powerful. When you are surrounded by others who are also seeking the same blessing, it lifts your own spirit. You feel encouraged, supported, and connected. It is one of the most beautiful aspects of Ramadan.
At the same time, the personal dimension is equally important. Even within a community setting, each person has their own private conversation with God. Each heart holds its own prayers, its own needs, its own longing for mercy and forgiveness.
And that balance between community and private prayer is one of the things that makes Islamic worship so thoughtful. You are never fully alone, but you are also never lost in the crowd. There is room for both the collective and the deeply personal.
I love that perspective. And I think it speaks to a broader truth about human beings. We need community and we need solitude. We need shared experiences and we need private reflection. Laylatul Qadr honors both of those needs beautifully.
Now, let us also think about the broader meaning of this night, beyond the rituals and signs. What is Laylatul Qadr really asking of us as human beings? What is the deeper invitation hidden inside this sacred occasion?
I think the deeper invitation is to believe in the possibility of change. Laylatul Qadr is rooted in the belief that one night, just one single night, can be worth more than 1,000 months of ordinary time. That is an extraordinary statement about the power of moments.
And it challenges us to ask ourselves, how often do we truly recognize the weight of a single moment? How often do we treat time as precious, as something that carries real meaning and real consequence?
We live in a world that moves very fast. We scroll, we rush, we fill every second with noise and activity. And Laylatul Qadr is like a divine pause, an invitation to stop, to be still, and to ask yourself what truly matters.
That is such a powerful thought. And I think that is why this night resonates not just with Muslims, but with anyone who has ever felt the desire to slow down, to be more present, to use their time more meaningfully.
The concept of a night that is better than 1,000 months is also a reminder that quality matters more than quantity. It is not about how much time you have. It is about what you do with the time you are given.
And that lesson applies to language learning too, which is something close to our hearts here on Easy English Talk podcast. You do not need years of complicated study to improve your English. You need consistent, focused, meaningful effort over time.
Well said, Ryan. Small, regular practice done with intention will always outperform occasional bursts of cramming. Just like seeking Laylatul Qadr requires consistent effort across multiple nights, rather than one dramatic all-night performance.
The parallels are really beautiful when you think about it. Whether it's spiritual growth or language learning, the key ingredients are always the same: sincerity, consistency, humility, and a genuine desire to grow.
And those are also the values we try to bring to every episode of Easy English Talk podcast. We want every listener to walk away not just having improved their English, but also having gained something meaningful for their lives.
Let us now come back to the signs of Laylatul Qadr and talk about one more that is very special. It is the sign of the heart. People who have experienced this night often describe feeling an unusual sense of connection to God during their prayers.
Yes, this is something deeply personal and deeply significant. During worship on that night, the words of prayer feel alive in a way they often do not on ordinary nights. There is a sense of closeness, of being truly heard, of prayers going somewhere real.
And that experience of heartfelt connection is perhaps the most meaningful sign of all, because it doesn't depend on looking at the sky or checking the calendar. It happens inside a person, in that quiet inner space where faith lives.
And for many people, that feeling of genuine spiritual connection is what keeps them coming back to Ramadan year after year, and to the last 10 nights in particular. They have tasted something real, something true, and they want to experience it again.
That longing is itself a beautiful thing. It shows that the human heart is made for more than just the material world. It is made for connection, for meaning, for something that transcends the ordinary rhythm of daily life.
And Laylatul Qadr offers exactly that. It is a doorway into something deeper, something more. A night when the ordinary becomes extraordinary and the mundane becomes sacred.
Now, let us also address a practical question that many people ask around this time. What if I fall asleep? What if I cannot stay awake the entire night? Does that mean I missed my chance?
This is such a common worry, and it is important to address it with compassion and wisdom. Falling asleep does not mean you have failed. Islamic scholars remind us that God does not burden a person beyond their capacity. Do what you can, and trust that sincere effort is always honored.
The key is to plan wisely. If you know you cannot stay awake all night, then dedicate the most alert hours you have to your best worship, whether that is after Isha prayer, in the middle of the night, or in the final hour before Fajr.
And even sleeping with the intention of waking up for worship is considered a form of preparation in Islamic thought. So do not let the fear of imperfection stop you from showing up at all. Something is always better than nothing.
That is such a compassionate and practical approach, and it reminds us that God is merciful, not demanding. The invitation of Laylatul Qadr is not a test designed to catch you failing. It is an opportunity designed to help you succeed.
And even if a person does not catch the exact night, the effort spent across those last 10 days and nights still carries great spiritual reward. The seeking itself is valuable, regardless of whether you can confirm which night was the blessed one.
That is such a comforting thought, and I think it is exactly the right note on which to start drawing our conversation toward a close. The journey matters, not just the destination. The seeking matters, not just the finding.
And that is true in so many areas of life, is it not? The effort, the intention, the consistency, these things have value in themselves, even when the outcome is uncertain or unclear.
Absolutely. And that is one of the beautiful lessons that Laylatul Qadr teaches us, not just as a religious practice, but as a way of approaching life with sincerity and hope.
So as we wrap up this conversation, let us quickly walk through the key signs we discussed today. The sun rising softly and without sharp rays on the morning after, the unusual stillness and calmness of the night itself, the inner peace and spiritual lightness felt in the heart the next morning.
And also the possibility of spiritually meaningful dreams, the sense of angelic presence in the atmosphere, the absence of shooting stars in the sky, and that unmistakable feeling of deep connection during prayer that so many people describe on this night.
These signs are not guarantees, they are guides. And the best approach is always to give your sincere effort across all the odd nights of the last 10 days of Ramadan, especially the 27th night, while keeping your heart open and your worship honest.
And we hope that this episode has been genuinely helpful to you today. Whether you came here to learn about Laylatul Qadr, to improve your English, or simply to spend some meaningful time with your thoughts, we are truly glad you were here with us.
Thank you so much for listening. Every single one of you makes Easy English Talk podcast worth creating. Your presence, your comments, your support mean more than we can say.
If this episode touched your heart or helped your English in any way, please leave a comment, share it with someone who might benefit, and of course, subscribe so you never miss a new episode. Your support keeps this podcast going.
And before we say goodbye, we want to invite you to explore other episodes on our channel. We cover a wide range of topics that are both meaningful and great for improving your English naturally. There is so much waiting for you there.
So go ahead and browse through the Easy English Talk podcast library when you get a chance. You will find episodes that will help you grow your English, your thinking, and your understanding of the world around you. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep showing up for yourself. Goodbye, everyone, and may your nights be peaceful and full of blessings.